Welcome to Local 4 Live. Plenty to talk about for the next 2 hours. It's a trend for kids. We're talking skincare, and thanks to influencers, many are looking for perfect skin. Well, Rhonda Walker joins us to discuss the major mistakes that teens are making that could actually damage their face. Plus, February is Heart Month, and we're talking about a serious risk for pregnant women. A neurologist from Henry Ford Health shares what to watch for and questions to ask your doctor. And getting a live look outside, it's not snow, but rain isn't fun either. Ashley's here to break down when the rain will be moving out.
From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
And thanks for joining us for Local 4 Live. I'm Priya Mann, filling in for Nick Monticelli this morning. All right, at least it's not snow, but we are talking rain. It's kind of, just hovering over the area right now.
Yeah, the word I've been using this morning, soupy, because of the fog and the rain. It is just like has that soupy feel in the air. It looks soupy outside. So visibility is more of an issue than anything for us, but there is snow in northern lower Michigan. So if you are traveling up that way today, just be aware that you can encounter some slick spots. But the heaviest rain right now is north of Lansing. So we might dodge the heavier rain, which could also result in a rumble of thunder or two. We haven't ruled out a non-severe storm this morning, but more rain will be pushing in from west to east. We're kind of in that lull right now across the metro area. What's happening here is we have a warm front draping the region, and a warm front kind of serves like train tracks. And so you get the moisture that just kind of rolls along those tracks as the morning rolls on. But once that warm front lifts, we get the warmer air that advects into the area and is going to push the rain out of here. So it is a very foggy looking start with our downtown camera looking at the Detroit River. We're really starting to see a lot of that settle in because the clouds up above are just keeping that moisture down at the surface. So 37 in the city, 38 in Ann Arbor and in Pontiac. As the day rolls on, though, we should be rising to upper 50s, right around 60. But I have to emphasize, Macomb County up in the thumb, you're going to struggle to get more into those upper 50s today because of increased cloud cover there. However, West Siders will see the clearing first, and you get that sunshine helping us out when it comes to the temperatures. So this is the warmest day of the week, very spring-like between the warmth and the showers. But the rain does come to an end. We clear things out later today, but not for long, as we'll have another chance for some rain late Thursday. That could transition to some snow by late Friday just because of temperatures falling. So we get, more of a reality check heading into the weekend. And another little taste of winter just ahead. So it's that time of year, Priya, where it's a roller coaster ride. You can't get used can't get too used to one thing or the other. You just have to be prepared for it all.
This is the false spring.
Yes, fall spring, fool spring. I call it sprinter. Kind of a combination of spring and winter.
Yeah,
all kinds of names for it. And there might be some that we can't even share on air, depending on how people feel about it. I don't know.
We'll talk about that after.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks, Ash. Well, in your headlines this morning, the Dale Warner murder trial gets underway in about 2.5 hours at 10:30. On Tuesday, jurors saw a police interview with Dale after his wife Dee went missing in 2021. In the body camera video, Dale claims the couple got into an argument, but he tells police the fight was a 5 out of 10 before he woke up to Dee missing and her wedding ring left on his desk.
She was upset, but it wasn't. That's what's weird. It wasn't like the worst fight we've ever had. It's like just a mediocre. It was over a freaking employee.
Now, police checked Dale for scratches or bruises, but didn't see any. You can watch the trial streaming on Local 4 Plus. Former Michigan football coach Sharon Moore is granted a hearing to decide if important details were left out to secure his arrest warrant. Moore is charged with stalking and home invasion. He's accused of harassing a woman he had an affair with, who also worked as his executive assistant. The defense argues calls to the woman could have been work-related and accused detectives of leaving that detail out to get the warrant.
Judge Simpson got it right in this motion, and due process matters. Coach Moore maintains his innocence, and the truth will come out.
And the judge agreed not including details of the workplace dynamic is misleading and doesn't tell the whole story. An evidentiary hearing is set for March 2nd. The world is remembering the life and legacy of civil rights pioneer Jesse Jackson, who passed away Tuesday after fighting a rare brain disease. Back in 1965, he started working with Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. In 1968, he was in Memphis when Dr. King was assassinated. Years later, Jackson created Operation Push, pushing businesses to open doors to black workers and customers. He ran for the Democratic presidential nomination in 1984 and in 1988, winning 11 primaries before dropping out. Detroit NAACP President Reverend Dr. Wendell Anthony says Jackson's impact on civil rights will never be forgotten.
He spoke from the street to the suite. Jesse made it very clear that it ain't what they call you, it's really what you answer to and who you call and what you call yourself. He made everybody feel important, the young, the old, and in between.
Governor Whitmer also released a statement on Jackson's death saying Reverend Jackson had a special connection to Michigan and especially the city of Detroit. He visited often, standing with labor, working with local leaders, and inspiring the next generation of changemakers. Today marks the start of two important religious observances, Lent for Christians and Ramadan for Muslims. Right now you're seeing images of the Vatican, the holy city for Catholics, who make up the largest Christian denomination. And at the same time, Muslims are circling the Kaaba, a sacred structure in the center of Mecca. They walk around it 7 times, counterclockwise, symbolizing unity, equality, and devotion to Allah. Both days are meaningful in their respective faiths, so let's take a quick look at how Lent and Ramadan got started. Lent began way back in 325 AD. It began as a 40-day fasting period for new converts to prepare for Easter. It was a time for prayer, reflection, and sacrifice, mirroring the 40 days Jesus spent fasting in the wilderness before starting his ministry. The number 40 shows up along in the Bible. It rained 40 days and 40 nights during Noah's flood, and Moses spent 40 days on Mount Sinai communicating with God and receiving the 10 Commandments. The word Lent, by the way, comes from an Old English word meaning spring. Now let's take a look at Ramadan. It's said that Ramadan began back in 610 AD as the time when God first spoke to the prophet Muhammad, giving him the words of the Quran. Like Lent, Ramadan is a time for prayer, reflection, and fasting. In the Islamic faith, fasting is from dawn until sunset, and after sunset, families gather for iftar, the meal to break the fast. Interestingly, the idea of Ramadan was important even before Islam. It was used as a time when local feuds paused and people sought peace and meditation and mediation in their villages. And both Lent and Ramadan are about spiritual growth and community, uniting billions of people around the world in their faith and traditions. Well, it's a big talker among parents. Our kids lured to try skincare products that they see on social media, often from influencers with seemingly perfect skin. But should teens and preteens be using every product that they see? What's actually safe for young skin? Rhonda Walker is talking to a local dermatologist with answers for parents.
Skincare is big business, about a $200 billion industry, and the brands are targeting kids at an alarming rate thanks to TikTok and Instagram influencers. And kids are taking the bait, and sometimes with damaging results. Understanding what's in the product, what it will do to your skin, and if it's even appropriate for your age and skin type should be left to a dermatologist and not a stranger on the internet.
You're a straight A student?
Yeah.
Shyla Green is an 8th grade scholar athlete, and like many girls her age, she wants perfect skin.
Take me back to you're asking for all these products for Christmas.
I saw them on like TikTok and like on Instagram and stuff. They made like the models look really good.
What started happening?
I started to break out and get really dry and flaky.
Shyla kept using it.
Maybe it's my skin adjusting to it or something.
So how bad did it get?
It got pretty bad. It was like scary. I was like, oh my gosh, like how am I gonna fix this? Is this gonna be like permanent?
Hi.
That's when her mom took her to Dr. Shauna Diggs, owner of Cosmetic Derm in Grosse Pointe.
Many times these products with their labels, you can't really tell what's in them. So layering multiple times an irritating chemical. This is a mask, this is a toner, this is a moisturizer, this is a serum. All 4 things have the same thing.
So you're putting 4 times the amount on your face?
Yes.
From my experience, you don't really read off of the bottles and like know what's in them. They just weren't for like my age group.
You're beautiful regardless.
Shyla's 11-year-old younger sister, Callie, had a reaction too.
I got like a lot of bumps and I got a really bad rash.
Here's what Dr. Diggs says is and is not appropriate for younger skin.
The best thing is really a gentle wash, a moisturizer with a sunscreen in the morning, and then at night you wash your face again and then you put a good moisturizer on at night that does not cause acne. So you're looking for a non-comedogenic or non-pore clogging.
Hyaluronic acid and ceramides.
Hyaluronic acid can be very moisturizing for the skin. There are other kind of humectants for the skin, ceramides, things like that. Those are all safe.
Vitamin C.
It's a great antioxidant, but it can also be a little bit irritating, particularly if you're young. So that usually isn't needed.
Exfoliants and retinols?
The premier exfoliant is Retin-A. When you're young, you don't need an exfoliant. All that's going to do is make you red, itchy, burny red. As you get older and you're getting acne, you might need an exfoliant.
Hydroxy acids?
Glycolic acid, lactic acid, mandelic acid. If you're 12 and you have acne on your nose, you could use a salicylic acid lotion or cream to your nose.
And should you be using any of these acids if you're not treating a skin condition like acne?
As a preteen, no.
Double cleansing?
Cleaning your face twice all the time. You're risking more stripping, and it's unnecessary.
Clarifying lotions and toners.
They tend to strip more, and those are things for people who have oily skin when you're an older teenager or in your 20s or 30s. I found that it was difficult for patients to understand which one was for their skin.
To simplify, Dr. Diggs developed her own skincare line nearly 20 years ago for all ages and faces, female and male, originally inspired by her own 2 daughters.
So how do you feel about your skin now?
I feel great. I love, because like it's clear and I don't really have breakouts anymore.
And Rhonda joins us right now. This topic has so many layers.
It
right?
really does. And, you know, it's become so popular. And the first time I was exposed, about 2 years ago, when my niece was like 10. And she was spending the weekend with me and she wanted to do skincare. So we went to Target and we bought all these products. And I never thought twice about what's in these products and are they safe for her skin? She's 10.
Right.
So this really is just an eye opener because the kids are seeing it on Instagram, they're seeing it on TikTok. They're girls that look their age with perfect skin, but they could be any age. And yes, they have perfect skin because they're, you know, they're young and youthful and beautiful. But it's just luring kids into this whole craze with skincare, and some of it can be damaging to their skin.
But is it also like social media and filters and AI? I mean, of course they look like they have perfect skin. It might not be real.
Exactly. And so that education that's needed for parents to really talk to their kids about what they're seeing, and that it's not real, and that there's lighting and filters and all these things to make them look perfect. And Shyla, who I talked to, that's what she said. She said, you know, we don't think about what's in these ingredients. I'm not like reading the ingredient list. And if they did, they probably wouldn't know what it meant anyway.
Right, yeah.
And yes, they're seeing these images and they're young, you know, for them to be able to decipher if this is real or it's fake is a huge education that's needed.
Also, when all your friends are doing it, when everybody's talking about it, then you know, 100%. You have that urge to want to fit in. I remember being, when I was young, I mean, this is back in the day of like magazines.
Right.
And you would be flipping through magazines, you're like, I want this skin.
Yes.
And you'd be like, okay, Neutrogena or something, it'd be over the counter. It'd be maybe 15, 20 bucks.
Yep.
You know, it'd have a fruity smell, but that was about it. But these actually have chemicals that are actually made for more mature skin.
Exactly. And there is a time and a place and a skin condition for those types of products. And that's why Dr. Diggs said, hey, listen, you know, you can have fun at a young age. Hyaluronic acid and ceramides are fine. They're moisturizing and will be just fine for your skin. But the basics for your kids is just teach them to wash their face and put moisturizer on. That's really all you need. And the other really big one that Dr. Diggs talked about was sunscreen.
Yes.
And she talked about using it every day, using SPF 50, and that a lot of times, which I can really relate to because I swam a lot as a kid. I was always outside. I mean, literally just getting out of the pool and baking in the sun without sunscreen.
Same.
For years.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think it was for my skin type.
I didn't either.
Right.
I have brown skin.
Yeah.
I don't get, you know, sunburn, but it's more than just burning your skin.
Right.
It's aging your skin.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the things that show up later in our life are because of things that we did when we were younger. So Dr. Diggs is like, if we can start teaching kids that part of skincare to start when you're young, you can ward off some of the signs of aging that you're going to get in your 40s and your 50s and beyond.
I think it's really important too to meet the parents where they're at.
Yeah.
Because the parents, they're the ones funding it.
Exactly.
You know, your 15-year-old or your 10-year-old doesn't have that kind of money to go and spend on skincare.
But aunties too. Auntie Rhonda bought those products with my niece, not even thinking about what was in the products.
Right.
And Dr. Diggs also talked about how, you know, now these companies are trying to target 4, 5, and 6-year-olds. It's like, what?
I know, they have perfect skin. They're babies.
Perfect skin. Yes, and you just want to keep it that way. So it really is just an education, knowing what's in the products and really emphasizing the importance of sunscreen when kids are young.
And hopefully then we're not doing stories in like 10, 15 15 years about the long-term effects when kids have been using it for so long.
Yeah.
Because then what do you do when you reach an older age?
Exactly.
You know, what products are left for you?
Right. And like in Shyla's case, I mean, fortunately, their family had access to a dermatologist.
Right.
She stopped using the product, went in, got treatment to get rid of it. Her face is lovely again. But, you know, it could be worse for someone else. And then you think about the products that are sold all over the world.
Yeah, you don't know
with
where it's
no
coming
regulation
from.
and no testing. You just have no idea what you might be putting on your skin. And this is for adults too.
Right.
I mean, we have more access than ever to things that are made all over the world.
Right.
So you just have to be really careful and scrutinize those ingredients lists
Yeah.
and know what you're looking for.
Well, thank you so much, Rhonda. This was a great topic and very timely as well, since more of us are paying more attention to our skincare.
We are.
But
I've
it's
had
sunscreen.
some skin
Me too.
situations where I was using too many products. I'm like, something's going on with my
like
face.
reacting.
Well, sometimes you could, like Dr. Dick was talking about that layering. where
Right.
You might be putting, maybe you have a mask and maybe you have eye patches and maybe you have a serum. And all of those products could have the exact same ingredient in it. So now you're putting 4 times the amount that your skin should have.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
See, this is why we got to talk to experts like that. Thank you, Rhonda. Hopefully a few parents will maybe take a second look at what their kids want to buy. Thanks, Rhonda.
Just a little soap and water moisturizer.
Yeah, there we go. Keep it. Look what guys do.
Exactly.
Look at their skin.
And that may be why their skin looks so much better than ours.
That's the topic for next week.
Exactly.
Thanks, Rhonda.
Yep.
All right, well, we've got much more coming up. We've got rain for the next few days here in Metro Detroit. Ashley is tracking the forecast. Plus, we're taking a live look in the UP where winter weather is on the way for parts of Michigan. Yeah, that looks very snowy out there. It won't look that way down here, but we are tracking rain. Ashley's just walked into the studio. We'll have her up next. And we are getting a live look at Mount Zion near Ironwood this morning. After a few days of spring-like temps, Mother Nature is clearly saying not so fast. Here in Metro Detroit, wow, that does look really snowy out there. Here in Metro Detroit, we're dealing with rain, but head up north and it's a whole different story. Winter back with a vengeance. Winter storm warnings and advisories are in effect for northern Michigan and the UP, with the peninsula expecting up to 13 inches of snow. That's up near Lake Superior. Yeah, when you look at that picture, I'm glad that's not what we're dealing with here.
Right. So, I mean, a few degrees difference could have made a big, big difference precipitation-wise, but just rain for us today, fog, but no wintry precip. You see it here on the map. So a lot of blue and pink, and that's what's creating all those winter weather alerts up north. And so we dodged the snow and the sleet mixture, in which they could even get some ice accumulation on top of the snow accumulation, but we are in and out of some rain chances that are riding along a warm front for today. Those winter weather alerts vary from winter weather advisories in purple up north, though it's about 2 to 3 inches of snow accumulation expected with a little bit of a glaze of ice. And then the winter storm warnings, we're talking about 4 to 7 inches of snow with 1/10 of an inch of ice accumulation. So definitely going to be kind of nasty up there as those temperatures are below freezing. But we are just hovering close to 40 right now. 53 out in Chicago, and that is indicating the warmer air that will continue to push from west to east as the day rolls on, which gives us a good shot at getting in the upper 50s, close to 60, at least on the west side. And I'll tell you why the east side might struggle a bit in a moment, but right now we have upper 30s to right around 40 to start the day. Howell 41, up into Flint 40 degrees, and we've had some off and on rain chances and certainly the fog settling in some spots. And so let's go ahead and kind of jump around town showing you the views. Belleville, you can still see the lake there, but a bit hazy at this hour, and we've had more fog develop out in Ann Arbor where it's becoming much thicker throughout the morning, and a little bit of haze over the Detroit River as we look at the downtown skyline from our Windsor Sky Cam. So, you know, we're going to be up into right around 60 later on today as we will have temperatures rising with the warmest day of the week out of this warm front, but cold clouds and radar forecast showing you that we will have a bit of a break by the time we get into the lunch hour. I think that's when the bulk of the precip moves to the east and we'll dry things out, peel back the clouds. But remember I said east siders might struggle a bit with temperatures because check this out, that cloud cover is a bit more pesky from Macomb County up into the thumb for this afternoon. So I think that we'll be warmer out towards Ann Arbor, Howell than we will in Macomb County because of the lingering cloud cover that will hinder those temperatures. So it'll vary a bit, but a good chunk of Metro Detroit should get close to 60. We get another chance for some rain by late Thursday night. That takes us in the overnight hours, and then by Friday afternoon, evening, we could see some snow mixing in. Temperatures will be falling and a bit of a wintry mix to our north at this point, and a bit of a reality check by the weekend. So breaking down the 7-day forecast, we will be still on the mild side tomorrow, I mean in the 40s, but at least 10 degrees cooler than where we are today. And then this weekend, mid-30s to right around 40, but pointing out next week, Monday and Tuesday, this is when we have more of that weather whiplash because we not only fall below average, but we fall below freezing for the high temperatures. And come Tuesday morning, well, here we go again with those overnight lows back into the teens. So I feel like we have enough of a stretch to kind of get more into the spring-like feels, and then winter's like, hold on, I'm not done quite yet because we will get another taste of it next week.
I thought I heard you say close to 60. I see 59 there. All right.
I know. Not everyone will get there, but I think the heart of the metro area has a good chance of being in the upper 50s.
Hard to believe, though. It is February. So
I know.
See a 59 up there.
It's nice, but I mean, our records sit in the 60s. So we have seen several 60s in February over the course of the last several years, but it's not common. I mean, 35 is our average.
Right. And what's the term you had? Sprinter?
Sprinter.
There we go.
The mixture of spring and winter.
We got you. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Ash. Well, keeping soon-to-be moms healthy, February, of course, is Heart Month, and we're talking about a serious risk for pregnant women. A neurologist from Henry Ford Health shares what to watch for. That's coming up next. I'm Priya Mann with a Local 4 update. The Dale Warner murder trial getting its fourth day started in about 2 hours. On Tuesday, we saw video of Dale Warner's police interview after his wife, Dee, went missing. Several family members also took the stand. You can watch the trial as testimony gets underway at 10:30 this morning on Local 4 Plus. But you don't have to wait until then to switch over to the streaming side. Coming up on Local 4 Live, we are in the middle of Heart Month, making it the perfect time to talk about a serious risk all pregnant women should know about and the signs to know if they're having a stroke. Plus, we're highlighting opportunities in the skilled trades and how you can be a part of them. And we have been glued to the Winter Olympics. We've even tried our hands at some of the games, from luge to curling. Now our Hobie Artigue is grabbing the snowboard and hitting the slopes. Ashley is back with a look at your forecast in just a few minutes. Keep it here.
From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
Welcome back to Local 4 Live. I'm Priya Mann, filling in for Nick Monticelli this morning. If you're sitting down and watching us with your cup of joe, that caffeine fix could be starting to cost you more. Ashley Barrissey is here with what's brewing up concern for coffee production.
Let's go ahead and talk about new data coming in from Climate Central. The top 5 coffee producing countries, so we're talking Brazil, Vietnam, Colombia, Ethiopia, Indonesia, have all experienced an average of 57 extra days of harmful heat per year due to climate change. So together, those 5 countries supply 75% of the world's coffee. Brazil in particular had over 70 more days on average of coffee harming hot days. And that has a huge impact for those of us across the U.S. because data shows that 2/3 of adults in the United States drink coffee daily. So here's a heads up that the impacts for the farmers in those countries could end up impacting your pocketbook down the line.
All right, thank you, Ashley. Well, February is Heart Month, and it's the perfect time to talk about something that can affect pregnant women, the risk of stroke. While stroke is rare during pregnancy, it can be serious, accounting for 4 to 6% of pregnancy-related deaths in the U.S. each year. Now, looking into those statistics further, Black and brown women are twice as likely to experience a stroke while pregnant, and one of the biggest risk factors, high blood pressure. The American Heart Association just released new guidelines that stress close monitoring, early recognition of stroke symptoms, and prompt treatment for pregnant and postpartum women. And joining me this morning to talk about this important topic is Dr. Heba Hevsi, a neurologist at Henry Ford Health. Thanks, Doc, for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Let's start with, what are some of the big misconceptions here? I don't think a lot of people even know about these risks.
No, stroke during pregnancy is associated with high blood pressure 50% of the time. And so because of that unique risk factor, I think it's very important that patients who are in this high risk category be monitored more closely during pregnancy, are checking their blood pressure after pregnancy, and are aware of stroke symptoms and know what to do should they experience them.
Why is it, too, that Black and brown women are more likely to experience this?
You know, partly it is related to healthcare disparities and their access to appropriate healthcare. But even when they correct for all of those things, they still are at a higher risk. And so in that special patient category, it is even more important that they have access to appropriate healthcare and monitoring during and after pregnancy.
How can we better monitor our blood pressure, since high blood pressure can be a factor here?
I think everybody who is in this high risk category should have a blood pressure cuff at home to check, should go to their OBGYN appointments regularly and consistently to have their blood pressure checked. And I think it's really important for all clinicians who take care of pregnant patients and patients in the postpartum period to be aware of stroke symptoms and to be aware that these patients are at a higher risk of having stroke.
You know, when it comes to if you're pregnant and you have a stroke, what is the risk or danger to the baby as well as the mom?
Well, the risk so far that we know to the baby is not high. The risk is really to the mom. And so when pregnant patients present to, a clinician or an ER with stroke symptoms, we treat them the same. They have the same treatments offered as their non-pregnant counterparts. And it's really important to be aware of that because we can reverse and stop a stroke if patients present in time.
Are there questions that we should be asking? How can we also be active participants in our own health care?
The major questions to be asking are, are you going to the doctor consistently? Are you following all the doctor's instructions? Are you someone who has, a family history of high blood pressure, high cholesterol? Has your pregnancy been considered high risk? I think all of the things that reduce risk of stroke in the general population do apply to the pregnant population as well. And when we talk about stroke symptoms, we use the acronym BFAST, and I think everybody in the general population as well as the medical population be familiar with the BFAST acronym.
Wait, what is the acronym? Can you explain it?
Yeah, so the B stands for balance, and BFAST is a quick way to recognize stroke symptoms.
Oh, okay.
The B stands for balance. The E stands for eyes. So if you were experiencing problems with your vision, double vision, blurry vision, the F stands for face. So if you notice a facial droop, the A stands for arms. So if one arm is weaker than the other, the S stands for speech. So if someone has slurred speech, difficulty finding their words or getting their words out, and the T stands for time to call 911. And I cannot stress the importance of how important it is to call 911. Nobody who's experiencing stroke symptoms should drive themselves to the ER or have someone drive them, because more than 25% of the time symptoms progress very rapidly, and you want to be in an ambulance with medical professionals should that happen, and you want to be taken to a primary stroke center, and the ambulance will definitely take you to the nearest primary stroke center. So definitely 911 for patients, for clinicians, because sometimes these patients present to the labor and delivery unit, to their OBGYN office, to an to the general practice doctor. So if those clinicians are aware of symptoms and know to call 911 immediately, that would help save lives and, like I said, identify strokes quickly.
Very important information, very timely as well, it being Heart Month in February. Thank you, doctor, for taking some time to talk with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, do you think it's a good idea for high school athletes to be paid for their name, image, and likeness? Next, hear from a panel of experts on how this could work and the possible toll that it could take on students. An important conversation coming up next. Last month, it was announced high school athletes can start earning money for their name, image, and likeness. So yesterday, we decided to have a conversation about just that. Our Nick Monticelli talked with R.J. Weber, superintendent of Northville Schools, Chloe Barnes-Henderson, who played D1 women's basketball at Ball State, now the founder of Athlete Tech Academy, a new school with the goal of balancing sports and education for student athletes, and Shane Finney, athletic director at Dakota High School over in Macomb Township. We also spoke with a former NFL player, Jay Colrick, a former Michigan State player, and a high school coach as well. Here's a part of that conversation.
I do want to talk about the age and what's appropriate. You know, one of the greatest places to do all your research is the internet, because there are such great vast resources available. So many comments I've seen about, really, at the high school level, isn't that too young? Can't they just play the game? And I understand some of those, but I also understand that there is a whole business behind this, and that some of these student athletes are worth getting some money for their NIL. I guess I'll just start with you, Jay. Is there a too young cutoff? Do we say that if you're 7 years old playing on a soccer team?
Yeah, I definitely think there's too young. I think it needs to stick with at the high school level. I don't want to see it going into the middle school, especially. You know, that's when you get to, you know, you're finding your love for the game, and you have that extraction from, kids playing all sports to trying to focus just on one sport, because they feel this is their ticket and they're going to get the most NIL out of this because, this is one of the most popular sports. So I think they're definitely, that age, ninth grade and above, you have that opportunity to, earn something off your hard work that you've put in, the dedication, and, and to, piggyback off that, you have to understand, a kid that's ready for this and dedicate his time to this. Some athletes, like for me, from when I was in 8th grade all the way till I was done playing pros, I never got to celebrate a birthday because my birthday was in the summer, a Christmas, a Thanksgiving, all those things. So if you can reward the kids somehow for those things, this is a plus.
That's interesting. I thought you were going to go the opposite way with that, saying that because you are so dedicated, you don't have an opportunity to recognize the impact and the weight of the things you're doing. Is that another conversation? I know this is kind of specifically, Chloe, what your academy is going towards, is trying to balance all of the pressures of being a professional athlete, especially now when these young ones can start making money off of it.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think this is a conversation that still needs to be had, not just at the high school level, but the collegiate level as well. My husband will laugh at me, during football season or even during basketball season, regardless of the team that's playing. If it comes down to the last minute field goal, I get anxious. I'm like, oh, please, please, please let them make it. Please let them make it. And I always used to be that way, but why is because you have to think about that as an 18-year-old kid, as a 16-year-old kid, 15-year-old kid. Now it's not enough just to have, your school upset with you if you lost the game. Imagine a $1 million contract on that, a $200,000 contract on that, or on top of that, what happens if you get hurt, and then how does that impact, right, your NIL and your ability to be able to profit from a mental health perspective. So that is something that I feel like college hasn't necessarily gotten correct yet, is developing those wraparound services and guardrails for collegiate athletes. And so I definitely think, again, back to the opportunity that the state of Michigan has, can we be the first state to be able to have comprehensive, holistic mental health education around this topic of personal branding activities to be able to make sure that we can protect the most important thing, which is our student athletes' well-beings during this time that we already know is kind of crazy for them, right?
Right. So if we're not doing it right at the college level, then Shane, at the high school level, I don't want to say it's worse. I don't want to throw you under the bus like that, but could it be?
It could be very much so. I mean, that's what you're really worried about. Instead of worrying about, am I going to make the team? Am I going to start? Am I going to be on the field? Now, is this going to impact how much money I make? Imagine that pressure on a 15-year-old that is just worrying about making a varsity team, and now we're not worrying about that. We're worrying about making money. That is my big fear, and I think Chloe hit it on perfectly, the guardrails. How do we protect our kids from mental health on this? I mean, the pressure to compete, particularly at a Division I level that we're at, is incredible. And I watch, when someone misses a game-winning shot, that feeling. Imagine that game-winning shot just cost them $200,000.
Right. Which because there's supposed to be separation.
There's supposed to be, and that's, I fear that too. What we have to turn in paperwork for those that are do it. What about the ones that are off record, right? Off book. That's, I think RJ started to hit on that.
He's pursing his lips over there.
When it's off book, that's my concerns.
And you can watch the entire panel up on Click on Detroit and our YouTube page, so make sure you check it out when you have a chance. Great discussion there, Nick. Well, it's a warmer Wednesday, but with the warmer temps, of course, comes the rain. Ashley is tracking just how long the rain will last, plus when Mother Nature could decide to bring winter back. We'll have that coming up. Well, are you thinking about a ski trip up north? You're not the only one. Let's take a live look from Crystal Mountain. Resorts all over northern Michigan are calling this one of the best winters in years. Crystal Mountain has already got about 10 feet of snow this season thanks to an early start with snowmaking back in mid-November. But it's not just the snow that's impressing. Resort leaders say families are showing up in droves, making the season extra special. Yeah, some folks really love the snow, winter activities, being out there. It has been a great year. Maybe not today, but.
Well, great year for snow, but the one thing that comes to my mind, though, is just that really cold snap that we were in throughout January. That is someone that, I mean, I had a backyard rink, and my kids like to be out, like, making snowmen, and I wouldn't even let them go out and play because it was so cold.
Right.
So there's kind of that, like, you know, fine line where you have the cold winter enough to be able to have all that snow, but you don't want it to be dangerously cold to be outside.
Although I will say, when you do have dangerously cold temps like that, like 35 seems like a gift from heaven.
I know, right? This morning when I was walking in, it was in the upper 30s. And I thought, wow, this feels so mild. And then I looked at my watch, was like, it's 37 degrees. Like, why is this mild? But we've been so used to that cold.
I saw a meme the other day that said, do you know how much abuse you've had to endure to think that 35 is pleasant? And that's been us.
That's us. We're
Thanks,
all in
Ash.
it together. We're all in it together. And it could be worse today because, I mean, for our friends to the north, getting more of that snow, which for skiing purposes, yeah, that's great. But if you're traveling in that direction, I mean, we're going to be dealing with some treacherous travel because we're adding some sleet and ice accumulation to that mix. So we do have winter weather alerts up there. We'll look at that in a moment. But we'll get another wave of some rain before we start to dry things out later in the day. So the pink and purple is indicating winter weather advisories, about 2 to 3 inches of snow. 4 to 7 inches in the pink area under that winter weather, winter storm warning, I should say. So up north, we'll definitely be dealing with a whole different kind of precipitation than what we have in store today because of that 10-degree difference from Alpena to Detroit. And then we have the 50s already in Chicago for today. And so that's an illustration of the air mass that's to our southwest that builds in today and will bring us the warmest day of the week. But it's been a wet start to this Wednesday as we've had off and on showers. We're sitting in the upper 30s, right around 40 all across town. And so those temperatures haven't really fluctuated too much so far. Taking another look at views across the area, a little hazy in Belleville, but you can still see the lake. Definitely soupier and more thick in Ann Arbor with the fog formation. And we've had some haze over the Detroit River, but it seems to be improving as our Windsor Skycam looks at the downtown area. So it'll be hit or miss depending on where you're waking up. We get to about 60 this afternoon, and then we will have the clouds breaking, giving way to sunshine for today. However, if you're in Macomb County up in the Thumb, you might struggle to get into the 50s today because of some cloud cover. Let me show you what we're talking about here. So the precipitation pushes out of here by the lunch hour, and it'll dry out from west to east. Then we pull back those clouds from west to east as the later part of the afternoon rolls on. So if you're in Ann Arbor, Howell, you get more sunshine today. You're trading that umbrella for sunglasses. But from portions of Macomb County into the Thumb, look how those clouds are just a little bit more persistent and just don't want to break. So if this verifies, those clouds could hinder those temperatures later on today. So we might see a bit of a gradient in the high temperatures for southeastern Michigan. But the metro area, the heart of it at least, should be closer to 60 in those upper 50s. We'll get a little dose of some wet weather Thursday night, and then that transitions to a mix, if not some snow showers to our north by the time we get into your Friday afternoon. That comes with falling temperatures, so we get a bit of a reality check when it comes to the temperatures in this 7-day forecast. Today, close to 60, and there will be that window this afternoon to get out and enjoy the more spring-like weather. And I would say Thursday, Friday still on the mild side, upper 40s, close to 50. And then we do fall in the mid 30s, right around 40 this weekend. Overall, relatively drier, but we will be below average, not just below average, below freezing Monday and Tuesday of next week with that overnight low come Tuesday morning at the bus stop in the teens. So that's going to give you more of a taste of what late January, early February was for us by next week.
Yeah, I'm always paying attention to the overnight lows because I'm reporting when it's still before sunrise.
Right. And
I'm like, ooh, teens. Okay, got to be ready for that.
Those balmy 30s.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Thanks, Ash. Well, local athletes are competing in Italy today, of course. And next we head to Milan for a check of a medal count and what's happening today. Taking a live look in Milan this morning, where it is a busy day on the ice. Men's curling happening right now. Team USA is taking on Team Great Britain. Their match comes just after the two women's teams faced each other. Team Great Britain beat Team USA 8-7. Happening this afternoon, men's playoff hockey. It's the quarterfinals, meaning Team USA and Team Sweden are facing one another, meaning two Red Wings are in a battle. Dylan Larkin is on Team USA and Lucas Raymond is on Team Sweden. And let's take a look at the medal count that's happening right now. Norway has a commanding lead with 32 medals, including a whopping 15 golds. 9 of them come from cross-country skiing, and another 9 come from the biathlon. Home team Italy is in second with 25 medals, including 9 gold. And Team USA rounds out the top 3 with 6 gold medals and 23 medals total. And let's take a live look over at the biathlon arena in Cortina, where the women's relay just started about 10 minutes ago. Nearly 19,000 fans are packed into the stadium to watch which country will end up with gold. On the list, racing Team USA, led by Deidre Irwin. Irwin, by the way, is from Wisconsin, but went to Michigan Tech. Here's her first-person perspective on being an Olympian.
I am Deidre Irwin, and I do the sport of biathlon. My entire World Cup experience leading up to the last Olympics was all during COVID. And so I think for me, it was sort of almost like, oh yeah, this is just another thing. And so now going through this last Olympic cycle with all the fans, with all the everything that comes with the Olympics, and including all the media summits, I think it's a different Olympics for me. Yeah, every year we race at the Antolz, Anterselva range. Yeah, so it's a venue that all of us are very familiar with. Some of the athletes there have been racing there since they were like 13. So I think it's gonna be a really unique experience for all of the athletes, including the US athletes. I think my coach is from the Antolz Valley. And so it's like almost like our home turf in a way, because I've been training and racing there since I started biathlon, because that's where we would go during even summer camp. The main purposes of the World Class Athlete Program is to get excited about supporting athletes at a military capacity competing in the Olympics. I think we're able to show everybody that, you know, although there might be some political turmoil happening throughout our country and throughout the world, that sports bring people together. Everyone loves sports. Everyone loves a good story. Everyone loves an underdog, or everyone loves the champions that are already champions and they continue to do amazing. So I think being able to follow all of our journeys and being able to be excited about your country, whether you're from Germany or from the US, being able to really back your team is what the Olympics are all about. For me, it's been able to give me a career outside of my career as an athlete. So having this kind of dual career as both a soldier and an athlete has been so unique, where when I do decide to put my ski and my rifle down, I have a whole nother career to lean on, to look back on as a human resource specialist with all my experience that I've gotten through the Vermont National Guard and through the World Class Athlete Program. So it's I think really unique and awesome. I have salary, I have health care, I have all this stuff to look forward to after being an athlete, which I think most athletes, it's one of those things of when they retire, they have to think about, how am I going to get all this? And so I think for me, it's been an incredible, rewarding journey to be both a soldier and an athlete.
Now that's an incredible athlete. You can hear from our other local athletes as well. Their stories are over on clickondetroit.com. We have another hour of Local 4 Live coming your way in just a minute. Ashley will have her latest forecast. Plus, we'll get your news headlines of the day. We'll be right back.
From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
A soggy start to your Wednesday with rain and fog clouding up the morning drive. You're looking live at Detroit, where we're starting the day with temps in the mid-30s, but it will get much warmer than that as the day goes on. Taking a look over in Southfield, and you can see just how foggy it is along I-696. The good news, though, this rain won't stick around all day. Welcome back to Local 4 Live. I'm Priya Mann in for Nick Monticelli this morning. We do want to get started this hour with forewarned meteorologist Ashley Barassi with what to expect as the day goes on. Certainly, we're looking at some fog out there.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like just an icky day.
Soupy is the word you like, right?
Yeah, soupy. It's a soupy start. You have to have the alliteration.
Of course,
right?
Yes.
Or it's a warm, wet Wednesday. How about that? We have them all for you as we're getting over the hump today. But we will be contending with the rain. It's not an all-day washout because the sun makes a comeback for a lot of folks today.
Goodness.
And it comes with the warmth, which will be really nice. So let's get out of here, Priya, and
yeah,
plans
let's go
this afternoon. So we have some widespread showers moving in pretty much on time. Models were pulling this in between 8 and 9 and 9 o'clock. Here we are, and we're looking at some widespread rain crossing the area. The heaviest, though, tracking north of here. So I think if you were to hear a rumble of thunder, that's even going to be north of Flint. So we're kind of dodging that non-severe thunderstorm chance. But nonetheless, it'll be wet on the roads. It's foggy out there in spots, and overall, that's going to reduce visibility for the drive throughout the next couple of hours at least. And so that's a look at Exact Track 4D. For some reason, it doesn't want to get past. There we go on Exact Track 4D. But you can see with your own two eyes here with our sky cam over downtown Detroit, looking at Comerica Park, where we do have some fog that has developed across the area. Upper 30s, 38 from Detroit, Ann Arbor, Pontiac, so pretty consistent because of that cloud cover. But the clouds will make the difference this afternoon. A lot of us are going to peel back the clouds and get sunshine later in the day. But if you're an east side, or specifically like Macomb County up into the thumb, closer to the water, that's where those temperatures could stay a bit cooler today because you might not get as much sunshine. But for the heart of the metro area, I think we flirt with 60, upper 50s for today, and it will feel very spring-like. Just don't get used to it because we have a little weather whiplash by the end of the week into next week, and we'll talk more about that in your 7-day forecast.
But at least for today, it's not snow, it's rain. So
right.
Silver lining.
4 to 7 inches in the UP today out of this weather maker, so we really dodged that.
Oh, some of those live shots, you can't even make out what you're looking at.
Yeah.
All right, Ash, thanks so much. We do have breaking news we want to get to out of Washtenaw County. That's where at least 13 train cars have derailed. It happened in Pittsfield Township on Payer Road east of State Street. We're told none of the train cars were carrying hazardous material, but Payer Road is expected to be closed for several days. No injuries have been reported, and the cause of the derailment now under investigation. We do have a crew on the way, and we'll bring you the latest updates as soon as we get them. In your headlines this morning, the Dale Warner murder trial gets underway in about an hour and a half at 10:30. On Tuesday, jurors saw a police interview with Dale after his wife Dee went missing in 2021. In the body camera video, Dale claims the couple got into an argument, but he tells police the fight was a 5 out of 10 before he woke up to Dee missing and her wedding ring left on his desk.
She was upset, but it wasn't. That's what's weird. It wasn't like the worst fight we've ever had. It's like just a mediocre. It was over a freaking employee.
Police checked Dale for scratches or bruises, but didn't see any. You can watch it streaming on Local 4+. Former Michigan football coach Sharon Moore is granted a hearing to decide if important details were left out to secure his arrest warrant. Moore is charged with stalking and home invasion. He's accused of harassing a woman he had an affair with, who also worked as his executive assistant. The defense argues calls to the woman could have been work-related and accused detectives of leaving out that detail to get the warrant.
Judge Simpson got it right in this motion, and due process matters. Coach Moore maintains his innocence, and the truth will come out.
And the judge agreed not including details of the workplace dynamic is misleading and doesn't tell the whole story. An evidentiary hearing is set for March 2nd. The death at Proud Lake in Oakland County has now been ruled a homicide. A park visitor found a man's body at the boat launch on Wixom Road on Monday. The man has been identified as 19-year-old Andre Avant Jr. The medical examiner says he died from a gunshot wound. Crime Stoppers is offering up to $2,000 for tips leading to an arrest. Just call 1-800-SPEAK-UP. Investigators will have to refocus after DNA found 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's home did not match anyone in criminal databases. The DNA was taken from a glove that appears to be worn by a masked man seen in doorbell camera footage. The sheriff has said Guthrie's adult children and their spouses are not suspects. Authorities also say they are using what's known as Bluetooth sniffer to try and find her pacemaker. Now to the latest at the White House. U.S. officials say progress is being made after another round of nuclear talks with Iran. But both sides say more work must be done to stop any potential military action. At the same time, U.S. negotiators are in Geneva again today, trying to bring an end to Russia's war on Ukraine. Alice Barr has the latest on both from Washington.
Hi there. Both sides confirmed the Ukraine talks wrapped after about 2 hours today, a full day yesterday. A top Russian official called them difficult but businesslike and said the next meeting will take place soon. President Trump wants these fierce foes to come to some kind of agreement by June. Negotiators back at the table for a second day of talks between Russia and Ukraine. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff writing day one of U.S. mediated discussions yielded meaningful progress toward a peace deal, 1 week before the 4-year mark of Russia's full-scale invasion. Ahead of the talks, President Trump urged Ukraine to compromise.
Ukraine better come to the table fast.
While a pair of Democratic senators traveled to Kyiv pressing for ironclad security guarantees against future Russian attacks.
Ukraine needs and deserves a guarantee from the United States, not just European powers.
Witkoff and the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, also joining negotiations Tuesday on a deal to curb Iran's nuclear program. The top Iranian diplomat citing good progress on the path toward an agreement, but cautioning they will not reach it quickly, while Vice President J.D. Vance pointed to roadblocks.
The president has set some red lines that the Iranians are not yet willing to actually acknowledge and work through. So we're going to keep on working it.
President Trump has signaled military action is an option if there's no deal to guarantee Iran won't get a nuclear weapon. The president ordered a second U.S. aircraft carrier to the region before the negotiations and suggested regime change might be the best thing that could happen. Iran has threatened retaliation for any attack, and the supreme leader now says any attempt to take down his government would fail. Back on Ukraine, territory and security guarantees remain the top issues. And while Russia has shown no sign of backing off its demands, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said over the weekend he felt the United States was pressuring his country to make concessions without putting that same kind of public pressure on Russia. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
All right, thank you, Alice. Today marks the start of 2 important religious observances, Lent for Christians and Ramadan for Muslims. Right now, you're seeing images of the Vatican, the holy city for Catholics who make up the largest Christian denomination. And at the same time, Muslims are circling the Kaaba, a sacred structure in the center of Mecca. They walk around it 7 times counterclockwise, symbolizing unity, equality, and devotion to Allah. Both days are meaningful in their respective faiths. So let's take a quick look at how Lent and Ramadan got started. So Lent began way back in 325 AD, and it started as a 40-day fasting period for new converts to prepare for Easter. It was a time for prayer, reflection, and sacrifice, mirroring the 40 days Jesus spent fasting in the wilderness before starting his ministry. The number 40 shows up a lot in the Bible. It rained 40 days and 40 nights during Noah's flood, and Moses spent 40 days on Mount Sinai communicating with God and receiving the 10 Commandments. The word Lent, by the way, comes from an Old English word meaning spring. Now let's take a look at Ramadan. It's said that Ramadan began back in 610 AD as the first time when God spoke to the Prophet Muhammad, giving him the words of the Quran. Like Lent, Ramadan is a time for prayer, reflection, and fasting. In the Islamic faith, fasting is from dawn until sunset, and after sunset, families gather for iftar, the meal to break the fast. Interestingly, the idea of Ramadan was important even before Islam. It was used as a time when local feuds paused and people sought peace and meditation in their villages. And both Lent and Ramadan are about spiritual growth and community, uniting billions of people around the world in their faith and traditions. Well, it's Metro Detroit's biggest used book and media sale. Of course, we're talking Bookstock, and while the sale begins in April, there's a writing contest for Detroit students that's due in 9 days. We're talking about the best awards coming up next. Welcome back to Local 4 Live. Happening in just a few months, Metro Detroit's biggest used book and media sale will get underway. Of course, we're talking about Bookstock. That's happening April 26th to May 3rd at Laurel Park Place in Livonia. And next month, they will be collecting gently used books, audiobooks, records, CDs, and DVDs for the big sale. That's happening at Congregation Beth Am on Maple Road in West Bloomfield. But right now, it is all about being the best. Every year, fourth grade students in the Detroit Public School Community District have a special opportunity, and it all surrounds reading and writing. It could mean money for your student and a donation to your student's school. Here's Nick Monticelli with a conversation with Bookstock.
Judy Robinson is here in studio with me. She is in charge of the best awards at Bookstock this year. Can you kind of walk us through what the best awards are? Because it's not just you choosing the best, right?
Oh, absolutely not. We have fourth grade students from Detroit Public School Community District writing an essay, a one-page essay, their favorite book character and why. They turn it in, all the information is on bookstockmi.org. They turn it in with their entry form and their media release.
I see. Okay, so these kids, they get to pick pretty much whatever their favorite is and tell you about it.
It can be Cat in the Hat, it can be Harry Potter.
Oh.
Anything in between. We've seen it all.
Okay. What are some of the more unique essays that you've seen in the years?
You know, they relate to the characters.
Oh.
They talk about personal experiences, or they've learned lessons from the book. So it makes it so interesting.
Yeah. Obviously, it's fun to see what these students pick as their best.
Absolutely.
But I think what it also does is it helps us understand what the great picks are when we go to Bookstock, right?
There are so many thousands of books to choose from at Bookstock, and we love that the books it's so affordable that anyone can build their home library.
Right.
And I do personally also, but we want to get books in everyone's hands. We want them reading, and this makes it so possible.
Okay, so is there any criteria for the essay, for the best contest?
One-page essay.
That's it?
That is it.
All
Our
right.
readers judge by reading from the heart. They want to see what the kids are saying, not how they write, but what they write.
Okay, all right, and this isn't just an essay. Like the winning entries can get $750 for the whole school, $500 for the teacher, $150 for the student.
Absolutely.
Right, so
for
this is a
the
big
top
deal.
student, it is a big deal. The top 15 students all get a gift card and a new book, and the schools and teachers also get monetary awards.
Right.
So it's win-win.
All right, so I don't want you to give away all the secrets, but if a student were to say, Judy, I really want to win this year, what advice would you give them?
Write what you feel. Absolutely write what you feel. We read it. I'm not a reader, but my readers read them and judge them, and they're so heartwarming, and then we can celebrate the kids' successes with their families, their friends.
I know we're a few months away from Bookstock, but it is one of my favorite events every year. A, because of what it stands for, but B, to watch the people line up and crash the doors.
That is so much fun when they do that. But we also have Teacher Appreciation Days on Tuesday and Wednesday, April 28th and 29th from 2 to 7, and teachers get 50% off of all of their purchases.
Yeah, can you go through some of the numbers? Because you have hundreds of thousands of books usually.
About 400,000 books, and this event is run by approximately 600 volunteers. It's in its 22nd year, and all the money goes back into the community and throughout the state.
Right. Okay, before I let you go, I want to get some of the rules about the contest, the writing contest. They have to be postmarked by the 27th of this month, right?
Correct.
Okay, all right, and sent right to Bookstock?
Right to the address that is on bookstockmi.org.
We also have it on our screen right now, the address, unless it's wrong, which it could be, 29699 Southfield Road.
That is it.
That's it. Okay, 48076. Judy, thank you so much. I can't wait to see some of the entries this year. How do I sign up to be a reader? I want to read all of these.
Give me your number.
It's that easy. All right, Judy, thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Hope to see you there.
I'll be there.
Was he blushing? Okay, Nick. And for the teachers, if you are able to submit at least 5 student essays, you'll be entered to win a gift card, a class field trip to the parade company. There's even a drawing for a Local 4 personality to come and read to your classroom. Who knows? Maybe Nick will show up. Still ahead, we'll take a look at the winter weather hitting much of the country right now. While we expect temperatures near 60 today, but that won't last forever in Metro Detroit. Ashley's back with a dose of reality. That's next. Welcome back. Let's get another check of your ExactTrack 4D radar as we watch rain and fog over Metro Detroit to start the day. You can see a lot of that just hanging over the area. Let's get to forewarned meteorologist Ashley Verisi with a breakdown of the weather today. Hey, Ash.
Now, forewarned weather with ExactTrack 4D.
Well, coming off a wet start to the day, we'll peel back the clouds, get some sun. It ends up being the warmest day of the week. So rain will come to an end with some afternoon clearing. But then we have another shot at some precipitation, maybe some rain come Thursday night, but could change to more of a wintry mix by the time we get into Friday afternoon. We're going to break it down for you. Temperatures rising close to 64 today. Clouds and radar forecast showing that we will continue the rain showers through the morning, but by the lunch hour is when we get a better chance of clearing this out of here. So we'll start to dry out from west first to east, and then we will have the clouds sticking around until I would say about 3, 4 o'clock. We get much more clearing on the west side, so Howell, Ann Arbor getting a nice dose of sunshine today. Sorry for the folks in Macomb County. You might hold on to the clouds a bit longer. Trying to be optimistic that you get some of that sunshine, but the thumb region and trickling down for our east siders, you'll have a little bit more cloud cover later today, which could hinder those temperatures. But for those that get the sun, we will be flirting with 60. Temperature set up all thanks to a ridge that persists in the central part of the U.S., that ridge in the jet stream. We have warmth across the plains into the Great Lakes, and that area of red that's circled here indicates temperatures today 20 to 30 degrees above average. So as we recap where we've been, we have had above average days for the last 5, and today we'll tag on another one of these yellowish orange boxes. And so that was coming off a brutal stretch of below average temperatures from late January through early February. Now, even though we are well above the average of 35, well, we're still about 10 degrees shy of what the record is for this date. We were at 69 degrees back in 2017. Maybe you remember it well, because we did have a stretch of days that were record breaking. In fact, tomorrow's date had another record in 2017 of 66. A year later on Friday, well, that was a record of 65. So we have seen some 60s in the month of February, to say the least. The clouds and radar forecast, let's show you what's on tap for our next round of precipitation. We clear things out this afternoon, but by Thursday evening and Thursday night, now some scattered rain is starting to creep in, probably by about 10 o'clock or so. And we have another chance for some precipitation later Friday, but as temperatures are falling into probably right around freezing or below, well, now we could see some snow mixing in. So wintry mix, especially for our northern communities late Friday, and then we get more of what we'll call a reality check heading in the weekend, as temperatures will hover from the mid-30s to right around 40. So we will be overall relatively dry for the weekend, but you can see that there will be maybe a chance for a little flake or two Sunday. But the bigger headline will be how we fall below average and below freezing early next week in the 7-day forecast. Monday, Tuesday, highs around 30, and overnight lows will get back into the teens.
All right, thank you, Ashley. And while we're experiencing this warm up, other parts of the country are being slammed with serious winter weather. An avalanche near Lake Tahoe has triggered a massive search and rescue effort, with several skiers missing in the backcountry. Elsewhere, it's wildfires that are the problem. Reed Bunyan gives us a look at the weather across the country.
A multiple vehicle crash just south of the city limits.
At least 4 people are dead and dozens injured after a massive pileup in Colorado involving more than 30 vehicles.
There are several commercial motor vehicles, pickups pulling horse trailers, SUVs, and passenger vehicles.
It happened on Interstate 25 south of Pueblo Tuesday as powerful winds slammed the plains.
Adverse weather conditions with high winds and blowing dirt across I-25.
As wind gusts up to 61 miles per hour caused brownout conditions, authorities said, quote, visibility was next to nothing. Strong winds wreaking havoc elsewhere in the plains as well. In northwestern Oklahoma, a wildfire in Woodward forced at least 3,000 people to evacuate. Another fire broke out nearby in Beaver County, Oklahoma, rapidly crossing north into Kansas in just hours. Authorities say the Ranger Road fire burned about 15,000 acres by Tuesday afternoon, but it then exploded to an estimated 145,000 acres by evening. In Kansas, it forced evacuations of more than 11,000 people in several towns. As fires burned in the plains, an icy rescue effort was underway for missing backcountry skiers in California after an avalanche near Lake Tahoe.
Where you have brought in snowcats, we have snowmobilers on standby, we have individuals on skis.
Of the more than a dozen skiers, 6 had been found and rescued as of Tuesday night after authorities sent out search crews. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
And 9 skiers are still missing near Lake Tahoe as rescue operations continue today. Still ahead, DTE accused of releasing toxic chemicals into the air at a plant in our area. And then see an incredible rescue of a bald eagle stranded on the ice in New York City. We'll be right back. Take a look at this video that's gone viral. An injured bald eagle was stranded on an icy sheet in the New York City's Hudson River. The eagle was spotted crying out in distress, stuck in the middle of the river. Officers used a catch pole and a tarp to secure the bird and bring it to safety. The eagle was bleeding from its wing and was quickly taken to a New Jersey animal sanctuary and is now recovering. Thankful to that officer for their heroic actions. DTE must pay $100 million in civil penalties over air quality violations at its EES Coke battery plant on Zug Island. A district court judge ruled the plant doesn't meet Clean Air Act standards, and there's high levels of a toxic gas linked to lung irritation, cancer, and Alzheimer's. DTE is ordered to fix the problem immediately and spend $20 million to create a community air quality action committee with a goal to improve local air quality. And DTE did send us a statement on the ruling saying, quote, "We are extremely disappointed in the court's ruling and its negative implications on the domestic supply of Coke to the U.S. steel industry. We have been anticipating this order and are eager to make our appeal." Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is set to testify in a landmark social media trial today. A woman claims Instagram and YouTube purposefully designed features on their platforms to addict young users. She says she became addicted as a child and it harmed her mental health. The trial is underway in Los Angeles. There are more than 1,500 similar lawsuits pending, but this is the first to go to trial. A new grocery store is opening today, which will make it easier to get fresh food for one Detroit neighborhood. The Candy's Mini Mart will be inside the Candy Sandwich Shop at the Dirt-Free Innovation Society. That's over on Collingwood, west of 14th Street. This store is the first under the city's relaunched Green Grocer program, focusing on small neighborhood stores to bring healthy food closer to people. Well, it's time to trade up. We're talking about an opportunity to land new businesses in Metro Detroit today. And then the fog continues to blanket the area. We're back with a look at the latest conditions. We'll have that in a moment.
From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
Welcome back to Local 4 Live. We start this half hour with another look outside. You can see just how foggy it is in the downtown area as rain rolls through for the first half of the day. Good news is this won't last all day. The rain and clouds will move out of the area and the sunshine will soon move in. Forewarned meteorologist Ashley Barrissey says we'll be trading the umbrellas for sunglasses with temps reaching near 60 degrees. This is a live look at Mount Clemens right now, which looks pretty foggy for sure. Let's take a look at Exact Track 4D radar for a better idea of where the rain is falling right now. Forewarned meteorologist Ashley Barrissey will join us in a bit with your full forecast, and it does include a big drop in temps. Show me the money. Many of us remember that infamous line from the movie Jerry Maguire. Well, today that sentiment is front and center in our newest Trade Up segment. The Motor City Contractor Fund is having a big event early next month on March 5th. It brings together preferred lenders, community development leaders, and local contractors. It's basically like speed dating with small businesses looking to find financial support. We're told there's about $300,000 in capital on the table. And right now we're joined by Jason Barnett. He's from Invest Detroit, and Marja Farrow, an alumni of the fund's contractor program. Thank you both for joining me today.
Thanks so much for having us.
All right, let's start with the show me the money. Famous line, we all know it, and there's quite a bit of money that's on the line.
Yeah, it is, and thanks so much for having me. I'm Jason Barnett, one of the co-creators of the program, and so we created Show Me the Money, which is going to happen March 5th. It's going to bring the contractors that's currently in our cohort together with the lenders, which is Invest Detroit, Detroit Development Fund, Opportunity Resource Fund, and CDC Lending. As you mentioned, it's like speed dating. We're going to get to know more about the contractors. We're going to go through their packages to determine if they're ready for capital, and then they can get up to $300,000 worth of capital in lending from the 4 institutions that I mentioned.
You know, we're talking about a lot of money, but sometimes we lose sight of the impact that it can have. What have you seen?
Sure. So Farrow Group is a 25-year-old demolition company headquartered in Detroit. We participated in the pilot program of the Motor City Contractor Fund, and it has had substantial impact on our business, not only from an operational perspective and growth, but also from the funding perspective. We were able to receive 2 loans from the program, actually 3. We paid off 2, and 1 is still in the works, and so it's been a great relationship and has enabled us to grow our business substantially.
And when we're talking about growing our business, I mean, this comes down to good, high-paying, quality jobs for Metro Detroiters, for Detroiters. Can you talk about how this money can really impact our local community?
It can really impact our local community. When we co-created this with Gilbert Family Foundation, just wanted to shout them out for their $6 million in contributions to us, and the other partners that were involved with it, Invest Detroit, Barton Mallow, Ownership Initiative, and then Lifeline Global Consulting. So when we designed this program, we knew that it was about $5 billion worth of projects here in the city, and so we wanted to ensure that the contractors who were using family and friends money were able to get this capital to grow, get more jobs, employ people that are in the city, and allow our economic climate to continue to impact their lives. So it's been very, very beneficial to not only the companies, but also the workers that are part of the company.
Do you think events like this are also an equalizer in a way?
I think so. It gives the underserved the opportunity to get to the table. Like we're here today, and so they're at the table. They're able to talk about who they are, because most times they don't get a chance to talk to the lenders. And so when they're at the table, they can be vulnerable. They can be honest. They can be real about where they come from and where they're going. So it definitely equalizes everything, because now their voice is heard, and then we can help them grow their business.
And on that note, what advice would you have for some of these businesses who are going to be quote unquote speed dating?
I would say be prepared, be honest. We had traditionally worked with traditional financing institutions, and it was a new thing for us to work with community development financial institution, but it was great. Jason actually was our lender.
Oh, really?
And he took lots of time to get to know our company, to get to know us as leaders of the company, to understand our vision, our culture, and really went to bat for us for the loans. And so I would say just be ready and go for it.
What was that conversation like between you both when you've got so much money on the line?
Well, it was a conversation about where our business was at the time. So we were entering into our 25th year when we entered into the program. We really were kind of stagnant in where our revenue was, and we were looking for a new funding relationship. And so it kind of happened like that Kairos moment at the right time. And so the conversation, we had him come to our office. He even came to some of our job sites to kind of learn more about, he met our employees. And so really got a good understanding of how the Farrow Group works, how we were looking to grow, what the funds would be used for. And it turned out great.
This is very in-depth.
Very in-depth, very in-depth. And we, since inception, the Farrow Group is just only one of 120 contractors that we impacted. We've been able to disperse $400,000 in grants, $2.5 million in preferred lending, and an additional $2.1 million in supplemental income. So loans, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
and so it's been very, very helpful for those businesses. And then as far as in depth, we really get to know them. I was at a demo site and my eyes just were
Like
wide
hard hat
open,
and all?
hard hat, vest, saw the building come down. I was like, this is amazing. Like I almost wanted to become a demolition contractor.
Right,
just being
yeah.
there, so it was nice.
And it, you know, we talk about so many big numbers, but at the end of the day, this is helping families put food on the table. This is creating career paths for a lot of people.
It is, and that was the intention. When we created this and launched it in 2022, we really wanted to think about the generational impact. These contractors work on smaller jobs, but we wanted to give them an opportunity to work on bigger jobs. So it is very, very impactful just to see that some contractors have their sons and grandsons and granddaughters on site. So it is definitely multi-generational.
I like that you mentioned granddaughters as well.
Exactly.
For folks who want to be a part of this, who might want to get involved, what should they know?
I think you should visit us, MotorCityContractorFund.org. Share the information, join our mailing list, learn more, follow us. We post some amazing stories about the contractor pathways, and I think they'll learn more and want to be involved with us.
Thank you guys for joining us so
Thanks
much.
so much for having us.
It's amazing to see the work that's being done as well, thanks to partnerships like this.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Have a
guys.
great one. Thank you.
You too. Well, staying with the trade-up theme here, the city of Detroit is looking for help, and it's holding a meeting tonight. They're looking for people in construction to help rebuild the city. Our Nick Monticelli caught up with the people putting on the event earlier this week. Take a listen.
I think there's a misnomer that you have to have some kind of background or fundamentals in some kind of skilled trades. I think that's false, right?
That is false, especially as it relates to carpenters and millwrights. I'm a first-generation carpenter myself. For us, if you like working with your hands, mind, and body, this is the place for you. We do very well at skills training, so we'll get you up to speed. You just got to come with the hustle, the grit, and the can-do attitude.
Gotcha. Okay, and a lot of these too are paid jobs, paid apprenticeships, right?
Absolutely. And you know what? When you get a trade like this, a skill like this, you can literally take it anywhere in the world. You have a job for life. You have a career for life. And that's what we want people to think about. Come in, John, maybe we should tell them how much money they make when they come in for training.
Maybe we should.
Maybe we should. So go ahead, John.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you come in as a first-year apprentice through the carpenters, on the check, it's about $25 an hour, not including the benefits, healthcare, dental, vision, a pension, and annuity.
Oh, you get a pension too?
Absolutely, which is unheard of, right?
Right.
So the total package for a first-year apprentice is about $45 an hour.
Really? Okay, and that's probably not including overtime, which I'm sure there's lots of that available too.
Absolutely.
Especially because we build up the city, and we're going to need a lot more of this.
Yes.
Mayor, I also want to ask you too, in terms of the city's involvement, it's not very often that we have the city championing this kind of thing, saying come here and find a new job. And you mentioned earlier, jobs like this have an opportunity to break generational cycles of, I don't want to say poverty, but in some cases it can be for people.
Oh, absolutely. And we have a high poverty rate here in this city. We need people to take advantage of this. And you know what? We don't know what the future holds in terms of the type of training that we're going to have directly with the city, the type of budget that we're going to have, because we no longer have the ARPA dollars that came down from the Biden administration and so forth. We need people. This is an opportunity for people to take advantage of it. And let's help break that cycle of poverty, because that's exactly what it does.
Right. And on the flip side, and I don't know if you want to talk about it, but I'm going to go down there. People having great paying jobs like this means more tax money coming into the city.
Oh my goodness. I'm so happy you said that. Absolutely. We need those taxes.
Right.
That income tax. Absolutely. And if you live here in the city, there's even more.
Right.
It's even better for us.
Right.
We hope so.
And here is the information on tonight's meeting. It's at the Carpenters and Millwrights Training Center on American Street in Detroit. It goes from 4 until 6. There's also a Zoom option available. Well, it is the ugly truth about some everyday beauty products. Consumer Reports is revealing the toxic ingredients hiding inside of some shampoo, lotion, and makeup. We'll have that coming up. jeans, and these are what I wear when I'm out in the field. I never know where I'm going to be. Oh, God. No, it's fine. Okay. Michelle, I could have done it. Don't tell Michelle I said that, even though I said it right to her. Your morning routine probably includes shampoo, deodorant, lotion, makeup. You may not even think twice about all those ingredients on the labels. Well, it's time to change that, as some are linked to cancer, infertility, and other serious infections and illnesses. As Rhonda Walker shows us, Consumer Reports is revealing the ingredients and the products people should be wary of.
Shampoos, lotions, makeup, we lather, rub, and apply them every day without a second thought.
So the cosmetics industry uses thousands of chemicals in the products we put on our bodies every day. And until recently, federal regulations hadn't been meaningfully updated in more than 80 years.
A 2022 law requires cosmetic companies to register their products and ingredients with the FDA. But that doesn't mean that those ingredients are thoroughly reviewed for safety before they hit store shelves.
Just by looking at labels, we know that concerning ingredients show up again and again in the products we find in stores.
Consumer Reports says to check ingredient labels for the word fragrance, which often means a product contains phthalates, and to seek out products that say on the label paraben-free and formaldehyde-free.
These chemicals can cause serious health issues, everything from reproductive harm to an increased risk of cancer.
There's also PFAS, known as forever chemicals. These can show up in waterproof, long-wear makeup, and some have even been linked to serious health concerns. Also, coal tar dyes used in some hair dyes and cosmetics can cause skin reactions and may raise cancer risk with higher exposure. So what can you do? Keep it simple. Read labels. Choose products that say on the label free of these ingredients, and use ingredient checking tools like Clearia and SkinSafe, whose data CR currently licenses, to compare options. And then swap out products, starting with the ones you use most.
Even small changes can lower the levels of some of these chemicals in your body very quickly.
Bottom line, read the label carefully, use the tools available, and replace products gradually, one at a time.
All right, thanks, Rhonda. Consumer Reports also says buying from reputable retailers and avoiding unknown online sellers can reduce the risk of contaminated or counterfeit products. Well, it's feeling more like April showers rather than February snow. Ashley is tracking when the rain will move out of the way before we start flirting with the 60s. Welcome back. Let's get you another check of ExactTrack 4D radar as we watch rain and fog over Metro Detroit to start the day. You can see just how much of that is sticking over the region. Let's get over to forewarned meteorologist Ashley Barrissey.
Now, forewarned weather with ExactTrack 4D.
Well, coming off a wet start to the day, we'll peel back the clouds, get some sun. It ends up being the warmest day of the week. So rain will come to an end with some afternoon clearing. But then we have another shot at some precipitation, maybe some rain come Thursday night, but could change to more of a wintry mix by the time we get into Friday afternoon. We're going to break it down for you. Temperatures rising close to 64 today. Clouds and radar forecast showing that we will continue the rain showers through the morning, but by the lunch hour is when we get a better chance of clearing this out of here. So we'll start to dry out from west first to east, and then we will have the clouds sticking around until I would say about 3-4 o'clock. We get much more clearing on the west side. So Howell, Ann Arbor getting a nice dose of sunshine today. Sorry for the folks in Macomb County. You might hold on to the clouds a bit longer. Trying to be optimistic that you get some of that sunshine, but the thumb region and trickling down for our east siders, you'll have a little bit more cloud cover later today, which could hinder those temperatures. But for those that get the sun, we will be flirting with 60. Temperature set up all thanks to a ridge that persists in the central part of the U.S., that ridge in the jet stream. We have warmth across the plains into the Great Lakes, and that area of red that's circled here indicates temperatures today 20 to 30 degrees above average. So as we recap where we've been, we have had above average days for the last 5, and today we'll tag on another one of these yellowish orange boxes. And so that was coming off a brutal stretch of below average temperatures from late January through early February. Now, even though we are well above the average of 35, well, we're still about 10 degrees shy of what the record is for this date. We were at 69 degrees back in 2017. Maybe you remember it well, because we did have a stretch of days that were record breaking. In fact, tomorrow's date had another record in 2017 of 66. A year later on Friday, well, that was a record of 65. So we have seen some 60s in the month of February, to say the least. The clouds and radar forecast, let's show you what's on tap for our next round of precipitation. We clear things out this afternoon, but by Thursday evening and Thursday night, now some scattered rain is starting to creep in, probably by about 10 o'clock or so. And we have another chance for some precipitation later Friday. But as temperatures are falling into probably right around freezing or below, well, now we could see some snow mixing in. So wintry mix, especially for our northern communities late Friday. And then we get more of what we'll call a reality check heading in the weekend, as temperatures will hover from the mid-30s to right around 40. So we will be overall relatively dry for the weekend, but you can see that there will be maybe a chance for a little flake or two Sunday. But the bigger headline will be how we fall below average and below freezing early next week in the 7-day forecast. Monday, Tuesday, highs around 30, and overnight lows will get back into the teens.
All right, thank you, Ash. For our next Go For It event, we want to stock the shelter. Local 4 is teaming up with Michigan Animal Rescue League, collecting needed supplies to help animals. We'll be in Pontiac at the shelter on Wednesday, February 25th from 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. It's on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard North. You can donate any unopened bags of food for dogs and cats. No already opened bags will be accepted. We're also taking new pet toys and cat litter. You can scan the QR code on your screen to see their full list of needed supplies, or you can make a donation right now. Still ahead, we're heading up north. We're getting a live look at Crystal Mountain this morning. Next, we are heading out on the slopes to get a lesson in the art of snowboarding.
Okay, but
We do want to get to breaking news we told you about at the beginning of this hour. That's where at least 13 train cars have derailed in Washtenaw County. It happened in Pittsfield Township on Payer Road east of State Street. Our crews just got to the area and you're looking live at the scene right now. Wow, you can just see the train tipped over there. We're told none of the trains were carrying hazardous material, but Payer Road is expected to be closed for several days. No injuries have been reported and the cause of the derailment now under investigation. We'll keep an eye on this throughout the day and bring you updates here on Local 4 Plus and clickondetroit.com. Well, let's take a look at the Olympic medal count right now. Norway has a strong lead with 32 medals. 9 of those medals come from cross-country skiing, including 5 gold, and 9 of those medals also come from biathlon. Italy is in second with 25 medals, and Team USA still sits in third place with 24 medals, including 7 gold. And while we are trying to watch all of the Winter Games right now, we are taking you on some frozen thrills, Olympic events that you can try right here in Michigan. So far, we've learned how to luge, ski jump, and curl. And as we take a live look at Crystal Mountain, today, Hobie is teaching us how to snowboard.
Mountains are hard to come by in Michigan, which makes it hard to believe that snowboarding actually started here.
It originated in Muskegon, Michigan. There was a local inventor who gave it to his son actually for Christmas. It was originally called snurfing.
For almost 3 decades, the sport has grown into one of the most popular at the Olympics, with humble roots in the Mitten.
Michigan has the second most ski areas in the country, and a lot of people don't know that, so you're never more than a couple hours away.
Crystal Mountain, a place that's embraced what's become a wintertime favorite since the beginning. The resort seeing a resurgence in popularity every 4 years.
The Winter Olympics truly inspire people to either try something new, try skiing and snowboarding, or maybe dust off the equipment and try it again.
So our team at Local 4 decided to send me back to boarding school.
So I have snowboarded before, but the last time was December of 2014. We're a decade, about 30 pounds, surgically repaired ankle later, so we'll see how this goes.
It was time to lock back in.
There we go.
There we go.
Step 1 done.
My friend Nathan getting me back into snowboarding shape.
If I fall from here to the bunny hill, we're gonna have problems today.
Yep. We're gonna notice your board start to turn. We're turning.
Uh-oh, we're turning.
We're doing 360s.
We're turning. It's all on accident, but we're turning.
But this is what it's gonna look like. So toes are up, kind of cutting across. Obstacle number 1 out of the way, little kid. Out of teaching here for 5 years, that might have been the quickest.
Okay. After a few minutes on the bunny hill, it was
all right, we're off.
Time to hop on over to the real thing.
Follow the curve of the trail and take a left.
Okay. No, we don't want to go to the trees. No trees.
No trees, not yet.
No
not
trees.
Yet. I heard rumor we're going to be hitting jumps today.
We'll see how this goes.
No falls.
And look, no snow.
There we
no
go.
snow. How about that? I'll take that as a win.
But things not all smooth on the slopes.
See? I told you it was the scariest part.
It is the scariest part.
After dusting off the snow, run number 2, not too much to handle.
Woo! We're cruising now. Leaning your way back, popping forwards. There you go.
With confidence starting to come back, an actual event at the Winter Games that came up next.
There's something I've never done.
What is it?
And it is an Olympic sport.
Okay.
How about that?
NASTAR, we're gonna go shoot some gates.
Any tips since you actually teach this as well?
And then you're gonna weave between each one, and you're gonna try to stick to the outside of each one. You're shooting gates for the first time.
Yeah, we are.
Here we go.
3, 2, 1. Oh, 1 and 2, 3, 4. How I didn't hit an orange gate is beyond me.
Getting a small taste of what it takes to go for gold at the Winter Games.
Michigan has produced a lot of Winter Olympians, and everyone has to start somewhere. I'm sure they started with a lesson, you know? And so I think that, again, it's just, hopefully it's inspirational for people, whether they're young or old, to get out here and slide on snow.
OBRT, Local 4.
Well, Hobie looks like a natural out there. Way to go, buddy. You can scan the QR code. It will take you to other frozen thrills we've checked out. Hobie has also tried luge, Ty has tried ski jumping, and Joel went out curling. Well, thanks for joining us for Local 4 Live. More news and weather ahead here on Local 4 Plus and always on clickondetroit.com. Have a great day.